Columbia, Missouri, September 8. Quarterback Drew Lock. Photo by Jamie Squire, Getty Images. If you favor a rebuilding year in 2019, then the Washington Redskins shouldn't draft a quarterback until day 3. Late round 3 at the earliest. The list of possible targets isn't long, but it's headlined by Brett Rypien, whose pro-ready game makes him an intriguing fit at the team without a pro to start. If you align with the Redskins front office, however, then you want the Redskins to maximize their assets and attempt to win now. If the Redskins want to win now, they need a quarterback. And while Brett Rypien could succeed in the right situation, he's not the coveted first-round quarterback. In fact, few in this quarterback class are. But teams will inflate their opinions of the top signal callers in the 2019 class, in order to better cope with the uncertainty. While the 2018 class was stocked with surefire franchise quarterbacks, such as Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Josh Rosen, the 2019 class is less top-heavy, and less deep. Where the 2018 class spoiled the NFL, the 2019 class leaves the league sitting on pins and needles. Who in this class will emerge and become a franchise quarterback? And who will fall, in spectacular fashion? Want your voice heard? Join the Rigos Rag team. Write for us. One of the most polarizing quarterbacks in the 2019 NFL Draft, in this regard, is Missouri's Drew Lock. In his current state, Lock is no lock at all. But if he can clear up some very pressing issues, he could truly have the most upside in the 2019 NFL Draft class. Should Lock be considered with pick number 15? See for yourself. Page 2 Columbia, Mo, September 8. Quarterback Drew Lock. Photo by Jamie Squire, Getty Images. Some will say that Lock is underdeveloped mentally, as an NFL prospect. After watching, I'm not so sure this is entirely accurate. He's a smart quarterback, but he has a number of bad habits, mostly pertaining to footwork and pocket poise, that he needs to break, in order to succeed at the next level. Lock's footwork is the first thing that stands out on tape, and not in a good way. In his worst games, Lock works his way back, as if his feet are on autopilot, every other snap. It's not just laziness with footwork, but an actual habit that has been formed, and compounded upon, and needs to be broken. Lock throws from his back foot far too often, and even from that stance, he delivers some crisp passes. But he drastically limits the amount of things he can do on a given snap when he doesn't step up into the pocket. This is a prevalent issue, and must be addressed immediately at the next level. Lock's poor footwork and poise limits his ability to go through progressions. It limits his ability to throw a consistently catchable ball. And it limits his ability to see the field beyond the first read. The footwork is a problem of considerable magnitude, but because so many of his other problems stem from his footwork, it's worth wondering, if you fix the footwork, will the rest of his game come together? Lock shows hints on his tape that maybe, just maybe, that's the case. When his feet are set, he makes some very impressive throws. His arm talent is real, and his throwing motion is a very fast, fluid one. He can throw from multiple arm angles with high velocity, showcasing this exceptional arm talent. Lock's arm has been regarded as big, but his arm is not just a big arm, it's a versatile arm. Lock can cultivate the velocity to fit the ball into very tight windows on all 3 levels of the field. Touch throws and bullets, more so, are in his repertoire. More from Rigos Rag. From a mental processing standpoint, there are issues with Lock, but again, some of that is the consequence of detrimental habits with his base. Pressure can force Lock to hesitate and ultimately make his decisions too late, and in those situations, he trusts his arm too much. When he has no business throwing the ball anywhere but out of play, he can try to force it off base. These panic moments compound Lock's weaknesses, and lead to high-risk, low-reward throws. His confidence in his arm can make him reckless, which, in essence, spawns comparisons to Jay Cutler. When footwork is not the denominator of Locke's performance, we see hints of a higher IQ. Suggested. On multiple occasions in film, Locke showed the ability to manipulate the safety with his eyes. He also showed flashes of crafty deception as a runner, using pump fakes to his advantage. Locke does a decent job of recognizing blitzes and accordingly getting the ball out quick. Against Florida, at the 5:35 mark, Locke made an impressive audible at the line of scrimmage on the goal line. Seeing a heavy blitz to the left interior, he changed the play to a read option, and when the defense overloaded the left, Locke took the ball in space to the right, getting a good chunk of yards. Locke does need to work on keeping his eyes downfield on rollouts, as even hinted pressure makes him skittish. He's diligent with play-action fakes, able to whip his shoulders around quickly after faking the exchange. He has the athleticism to thrive in rollout situations in the NFL, but he needs to kick the habit of fading backwards. This, again, ties back to his poise. Locke is substantially mobile in the pocket, but he needs to use that mobility the right way. In his best moments, Locke looks like a transcendent talent. When his feet are set, he makes some very impressive throws, and even when they're not, he can still hit tight windows on the run. Locke has the coveted ability to turn a broken play into a big gain, something he showed on numerous occasions in his bowl game performance against Oklahoma State. He has just the right mix of power and pillow to put into his deep passes to fit them into tight windows, and if his base improves, so too could his inconsistency issues. Locke's inconsistency, while we're on the topic, is an intriguing aspect of his game. Down the middle of the field, and on end zone fades, he's very spotty, and he can float passes when rushed. He doesn't always throw unless a receiver is wide open, although he does show some hints of anticipation and progression work. But a lot of times, he locks on to his first read and throws them into dangerous situations, failing to lead them correctly based on situation. Why? Because his feet are moving backward, and he takes himself out of the optimal place to survey the field. Then defenders break containment and follow Locke, and it's a slippery slope from there. Therein lies the greatest question of Locke's tape: what can he be if he can fix his footwork, and instill poise into his game? When he actually gives himself a chance to go through progressions, and stands tall in the pocket, he flashes brilliance, looking off safeties and throwing lasers right where they need to be. Whenever he shows anticipation, his feet are set. Whenever he doesn't, he's already diverted his eyes to the check down option by fading backward. Progressions are still a major question mark for Locke, because he never gives the play enough time to develop. He showed growth, pertaining to poise, in his bowl game performance, especially in high-pressure situations, and the fact that Locke developed some consistency over the course of 2018 is a promising factor. He comes to the NFL as a player slowly trending up. But Locke is still a polarizing prospect, and he will be for years to come. His poise is terribly inconsistent, and his footwork needs immense polish. But so many of his other issues stem from his footwork, it's fair to wonder how much of Locke's game can be unlocked by fixing his base. He has the arm talent to be an exceptional starter, and he has the ability to deliver the wow throws that only NFL quarterbacks can make. But every wow throw comes with it. What throw? Consistency is what Locke needs to strive for. Again, with his inconsistency, Locke relates to Jay Cutler as a prospect, in some aspects. But when his fundamentals check out, Locke is perhaps more accurate than Cutler, and his arm is more elastic. Locke's mentality also factors into the equation. While Cutler was labeled as hard to work with at times, Locke has shown at every juncture that he's the kind of quarterback you want leading your team. As a leader, he helped turn around a Missouri football program reeling from boycott and underperformance, bringing them back to a bowl game in his final 2 seasons as starter. At the Senior Bowl, Locke's charismatic, yet thoughtful personality was placed under the spotlight, and off of limited encounters, he seems like the type of quarterback who would respond well to coaching and constructive criticism. Combine his mentality with his undeniable physical talents, and he could have the highest upside in the 2019 class. Mentally, Locke may have some refinement to do. But make no mistake, he's a smart quarterback. Bad habits are limiting his development, and if they can be broken, Locke can be the best quarterback out of this class. Tape watch Drew Lock vs. Georgia 2018, Drew Lock vs. Oklahoma State 2018, Drew Lock vs. Florida 2018, Drew Lock vs. Kentucky 2018, Drew Lock vs. Alabama 2018, Drew Lock vs. Memphis 2018, Best Tape, Oklahoma State, Florida Worst Tape, Georgia, Kentucky, Alabama. Next, how Locke fits the Redskins. Page 3 FAYETTEVILLER. In November 24, Drew Lock. Photo by Wesley Hitt. Getty Images. It's no secret how Drew Lock fits the Redskins. He fits at quarterback. The real question is, do the Redskins have the support system in place to put Locke on the developmental track he needs to take to have a successful NFL career? If Locke's NFL coach would put his foot down, pun intended, on Locke's poison presence, then eventual returns could be worth the investment. But a concerted effort needs to be made toward fixing Locke's footwork, because in the NFL, the game moves even faster, and Locke can't get caught falling behind. From a physical standpoint, however, Locke does fit the Redskins' West Coast scheme. Executed a good amount of screens in college, prepping him for key staples of Jay Gruden's offense, but at the same time, he can make any throw that needs to be made on all three levels. He's mobile enough to execute rollouts and other concepts designed to work with a quarterback's mobility. He displayed good awareness and executions on various option plays throughout his career, and when a receiver's open, he can hit them with a crisp, pinpoint pass. Gruden and new offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell would need to spend time solidifying Locke's progression work, and the need for anticipating passes would have to be emphasized. But Locke does fit what the Redskins are doing, and mentally, he could respond well to Alex Smith as a mentor, if the latter would take on that role in the event that Locke is selected. Were he to be drafted by Washington, Locke would fall into a situation with a coach who's developed quarterbacks before, and a quarterback in the quarterback room who's worked wonders for his fellow signal callers as a mentor. There's lots to clean up, but Washington is far from the worst place for Locke to come, to seek out refinement. The only condition: the Redskins need to draft a guard in round 2 if Locke goes round 1, because Locke does not do well against interior pressure. Next, should the Redskins draft Drew Lock? Page 4 COLUMBIA, Mo, October 20th, quarterback Drew Lock. Photo by Ed Zerga. Getty Images. This question demands that another question is asked: are the Redskins a quarterback away from contention? If not, can they risk inserting a project of sorts into the starting lineup before he's ready for the big stage? In an ideal situation, if Locke was drafted, Alex Smith would be available to start initially, similar to the Patrick Mahomes situation in Kansas City. But Smith is not available, and he might not ever be. If Locke is drafted, he'd be the Redskins' #1 quarterback right away. And while that experience could help his overall development, it could also set him back, as he wouldn't have the time to sit back and focus on refining the detrimental aspects of his game. The team could, in theory, start Colt McCoy over Locke, but that sends a message that the Redskins' first-round quarterback isn't ready. That brings back memories of Schuler, and Ramsey, and Campbell. More likely than not, Locke is the day-1 starter if he's drafted. And as much as his potential is enthralling, he's not ready to start on day 1, with his pocket game in its current state. If the Redskins feel good about Locke's progression in 2018, and if Alex Smith is available as a mentor presence, despite his injury, then there is reasoning to draft Locke in round 1. He has the biggest upside of any quarterback in the 2019 class, and he has the right mentality to learn and improve wherever possible. In time, he could become a franchise quarterback. Next, NFL Mock 3.0. What if the Redskins traded back? But if Locke would be on his own in DC, then the first-round pick is better spent elsewhere, because there is nothing worse than a wasted investment at quarterback. It can set a team back for years, as the Alex Smith contract may have already done for Washington. Drew Lock brings monstrous potential to the Redskins draft board, but also has bust potential, if placed in the wrong situation. If you draft Drew Lock, you get a prospect with franchise upside. But are you willing to take the risk? Page 5. Much like last season, we won't know anything about the Redskins' plans at the quarterback position until they happen. Late last January, the team traded for Alex Smith, which virtually guaranteed that Kirk Cousins would be leaving the team in free agency. This year, with Smith injured and likely out for 2019, if not longer, the team is going to have to add some depth and competition at the position. The question now is, how? Given that Alex Smith has roughly a $20 million cap hit this offseason, the Redskins are in a bit of a bind. They don't have a lot of cap room, and while they can open up some space via roster cuts, sinking such a high percentage of the cap into quarterback would thin out the rest of the roster. For that reason, many believe the team could have interest in selecting a quarterback early in the 2019 NFL Draft. However, the possibility remains that the team could target a veteran stopgap, and NFL Network's Steve Wyche is reporting that they seem more interested in adding a veteran at the moment. Here's what he said in a recent segment on the NFL Network. More from Rigo's rag. Every indication I got is the Redskins would probably be leaning more towards a free agent type of quarterback, at least to carry things until Colt McCoy could possibly come back, or Alex Smith could come back, or get them through the season. Wyche would go on to list the host of usual suspects that would qualify as a veteran fill-in. Ryan Tannehill, Teddy Bridgewater, Case Keenum, and Blake Bortles all fall into that category, and if the market doesn't develop for starting quarterbacks, which is certainly within the realm of possibility, the Redskins could land one on the cheap. That may be a better solution for them moving forward. This also would explain why the team apparently had interest in Joe Flacco. Though Flacco would have been extremely expensive from a monetary standpoint, it's clear that the team wants to add a proven veteran who might have a chance to learn an offense quickly and keep the team afloat. Given the uncertain nature of Jay Gruden's future, this would make sense. Also, it's worth noting that the 2019 NFL Draft is weak at the quarterback position. While there are a number of intriguing first-round options, they all come with significant flaws. The 2018 class was stronger, and the 2020 class is looking like a very strong one as well. The Redskins may be best served to build their roster this offseason while adding one of those stopgap veterans to compete with McCoy. That would make the 2019 season a tough one, but it could also accelerate their mini rebuild and give them direction, which is something they sorely need. Next, Redskins first-round option, QB Drew Lock. Things may change, but if the Redskins get a veteran quarterback in the offseason, perhaps they won't target one in the first round. Either way, keep an eye on that position in free agency, as a fringe starter could come to town in hopes of winning the starting job.